Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, trades day. We're talking all things trades today on Dodgers Dugout Live. Could the Dodgers bring in Tommy Pham, Bichette, Tyler O'Neill, some relievers that LA could consider? We're doing 3 up, 3 down, all that more. Coming up next here on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win!
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam! It's a double for Freddie. Mookie Magic!
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation? My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor and subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel, the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, and be sure to comment "Goat Tawny" down below so you're eligible for this really awesome, authentic road gray Shohei Ohtani Dodgers jersey. All you have to do to be eligible to win is be subscribed to the channel and comment "Go Tawny" down below. We've got a ton of giveaways on the way. Even before then, we're working on some stuff. We're gonna do some in-show giveaways pretty soon too. The hat is on the way, so lots of exciting giveaways coming here at Dodgers Nation. And of course, we know we start everything with the poll question of the show. The Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, by the end of the season, who will be the Dodgers starting shortstop? Will it be Mookie Betts? Will it be Miguel Rojas? Will it be a new shortstop after a trade? Or will it be Gavin Lux? And right now, if you look at the poll results, you can go over to X and vote on this poll if you want. 27% say Mookie Betts, 21% say Miguel Rojas, 49% say new shortstop after trade, and 3% say Gavin Lux. So give us your response down below and all your takes on all things Dodger baseball. Who will be the Dodgers shortstop by the end of the season? Got some thoughts on that, some updates on that as well. But settle into Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 show on YouTube about your Los Angeles Dodgers, where you get everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. And of course, today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Bet Online. Bet Online is your #1 source for the NBA, NHL playoffs this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to their online casino and get in on the games. You got blackjack, you got poker, you got 150 plus slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. Okay, so we're going to dive right into the action, but first and foremost, give me your takes down below, and you know how the show goes. If you drop a fire take, you're going to see one of these. If we get a comment of the show, you're going to see one of these.
You win. Perfect.
Anything a little sus, anything a little out of pocket, you're going to get one of these.
Bruh.
Any type of roast, you know I love some trash talk. Any roast, you're going to see one of these.
Finish him.
And of course, if you got a Dodger dog of the day you want to talk about.
Dodger dog of the day.
But we're going to dive into the trade talk in a second here. We got some quick 3 up, 3 down we're going to get into. 3 things I like, 3 things I don't like in the world of Dodger baseball. But first, let's read some comments. We got Denny Cortez. What's up, Dodgers fam? We got Hector Ramirez. Dodgers sweeping in New York next sweep. So yeah, bring those brooms there in New York. You gotta love that. The Dodgers get that sweep. The Mets cleaning crew got to leave early because the Dodgers, they did the sweeping at Citi Field. Mets season's over. That's from Anthony Alaman. We got Timothy Vargy about to go on a tear. Hector, yeah, hold on to that. From Kelly Oshiro. Miggy is the right answer. That's from D_Nation Life. I love that screen name, by the way. I love that username. By the way, bring those fire takes. You know I got super producer Mr. Antonio looking for all your fire Dodger takes. He'll feature them on the screen, and he super chats, and we'll get to those questions. But Tony Taters, big sweep for the Dodgers yesterday. Is this team back on track? Are they going to go on another run?
Oh yeah, especially going after the Rockies right now coming up. I think we're gonna get another sweep coming up. What about you, D-Mac?
I think so too. I mean, I like what D-Mac's number one fan said. He says, you broke the LOL Mets, D-Mac, with those 3 bombs. We're going to talk about Smitty, my doppelganger, here in just a second. Look, I said on the post-game show yesterday, this team got back on track. They started rolling after they blew out the LOL Mets at home earlier in the season when they were sitting at 13-11. They beat that Mets team 10-0. They go on a run, and then you sweep the Mets in New York. Then I think they're going to go on another run as well. We got a super chat from my guy, Mr. Richard Flores, $4.99. Maybe we're going to use this $4.99. You know what I'm going to use this $4.99 for?
What are you going to use? What are you using it for?
I'm going to use it towards a new glove for Jorge Lopez. Okay, because he needs a new glove today. He says, are the Dodgers really going to die on the Mookie Betts at Shortstop Hill? They refuse to let Miggy play until the deadline. We'll get in on that. But first thing, quick thought on that, Richard. I have remained consistent from spring training, the day they made that decision up until now. If you guys watch this show, if you're everyday watchers and listeners of Dodgers Dugout Live, you know I have remained tried and true that I never loved the idea of Mookie Betts. And the first solution I said was you have Miguel Rojas, a top 5 to 10 defensive shortstop that can get it done at that position defensively. And then anything offensively is icing on the cake, and he's produced at the plate. So sign me up for Miggy Rowe or a potential trade. You know that's where I've been sitting all season long, and we're going to go into that topic in just a little bit. We got BL Boyd. Can we please get rid of Luck so we can no longer be tempted to let him ever see the light of day again at shortstop? That's kind of a burn right there, because look, Gavin Lux has trended in the right direction, right? And we're getting to Gavin Lux talking a little bit. He has showed some really nice growth, right? Defensively, he's been great. Offensively, he's started to have his moments after a really rough start of the season. The question is, though, is it the best thing for this team and their postseason goals, which are World Series or bust? That's the only way to define this season as a success, is if this team wins 11 in October and takes home that piece of metal, that Commissioner's Trophy. But we're going to dive into that in a second. Let's get into our first up on 3 up, 3 down. And D-Mac's number one fan already mentioned it, and that is Smitty. Will Smith. By the way, no one has a picture of me and Will Smith in the same room at the same time. Are we the same guy? I'm not so sure. Just kidding. We actually have done interviews, and I love Will Smith, and I love the fact that you got that extension done. You know that I was pounding my fist on the table, begging and demanding an extension. The Dodgers did the right thing, inking him to a 10-year, $140 million deal, and he's continued to prove why that was the right decision. He hits 2 home runs yesterday, and then he had a solo shot the day before, and he's really starting to get going once again. And you look at Will Smith on the season, he's right at the top when it comes to catchers on the year. 516 slug, that's second in Major League Baseball. A 147 weighted runs created plus, that's third. His 2.4 F-WAR is second in the sport. So he is in elite territory. There's no doubt about that at this point. And it was quite an accomplishment for Will Smith yesterday. Yesterday, Smitty hit his 100th bomb of his career. 100 home runs already for Will Smith. And it got me thinking, where will he end up on the Dodgers all-time home run list? And he's at 100. He signed that 10-year deal. Let's say we're just conservative about this and we give him 18 home runs per year for the last 9 seasons. That would put him at 273 career home runs, passing Eric Karros for the all-time lead for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I think for me, I love the fact that Will Smith is a Dodger for life at this point. He's going to become an iconic Dodger. And that to me is absolutely big time. The fact that he has solidified that role, solidified that spot. We'll see if he stays at catcher for his entire career. But right now, Will Smith is a premier catcher playing a premium position. He's a clubhouse leader at this point. I think the way he goes about it, it's lead by example, but also just the communication with the starting pitchers, with the relievers, with some of the younger guys. I think all that is massive. And like I said, this is someone, Will Smith, who could end up as the all-time leading home run hitter in the history of this franchise. You're seeing him up there with guys like Ron Say, guys like Steve Garvey, guys like Eric Karros. and Matt Kemp. I mean, some of the iconic names that this franchise ever had here in Los Angeles. Now, he's never going to hit the top name. I don't think that's going to happen. If you look at the top 10 home run hitters in Dodgers franchise history, top of my head, who we got? You got Gil Hodges at second. He's sitting behind Duke Snyder. The Duke's at 389. Then you have Gil Hodges sitting at 361. Then you have Eric Karros at 270. Then you have Roy Campanella at 242. You have Ron Cey at 228, followed by Steve Garvey at 211. Then after Steve Garvey, you have, who's ever Steve Garvey?
Dude, that's so impressive. It's Matt Kemp. But
Matt Kemp at 203.
Dude, that's so
Matt Kemp at 203. Then after Matt Kemp, we got Matt Kemp at 203.
Yes, sir.
Then you have, that's Matt Kemp. Carl Furillo at 192. Man. Then you have Max Muncy at 184. And you have Mike Piazza at 177.
Holy cow, dude. Look at this guy.
Hey, you know I love my Dodger stuff. We got Mike Piazza, Eric Karros, Will Smith is America's catcher, Todd Hollinsworth. Someone's just randomly throwing out Todd Hollinsworth. Yeah, but let's drop that down sound because there were some downs, and let's get into it. You know who's down? You know who's down bad today? It's Jorge Lopez, who was DFA'd after throwing his glove into the crowd. The Mets, right after the game, it broke that it was the part of their plan. They were going to designate him for assignment after throwing his glove, and he ends up getting into it with the umpire. He gets ejected. You saw him kind of getting into a war of words. He untucks his jersey. He throws that glove into the crowd.
And you
look at this right here. Gloves untucked, throws it into the crowd.
Responds by tossing his glove
throws
up
that
over
into
the
the crowd.
netting
By the
and
way,
into the crowd.
hey, Zach Campbell, you caught like 50 million balls.
The Mets are
Try and
at.
top that. You know what Zach Campbell hasn't caught? He hasn't caught a big league glove. I mean, that's special right there. I don't care
has
what
just got
player
worse.
it is.
Whoa.
But
Lopez
to catch
responds by
a big
tossing
leaguer's
his glove up
into the
over the
crowd,
netting and into the crowd.
this is cool. You're not going to see this very
where
often.
the Mets
I mean, is
are
this a
at.
situation where it's like a wedding, where if you catch the bouquet, you get to go in the game and pitch? Because I think that's how it works, right? If he caught the glove, you get to enter the game, and you get to be that next Mets reliever that gets lit up. So he ends up getting DFA'd, and after the game, he had this to say to the media.
Wrong way.
All right, cool. Let's cue that up then. I don't see it on here. So we're going to cue what he had to say to the media. But basically, he was like, look, there was a lot of confusion about what he was saying to the media. And here we go. We got, we're going to cue it up right here.
Carlos Mendoza said that he understands the emotion, but that particular action of throwing your glove into the stands was unacceptable. Looking back on it, do you regret doing that?
No, I don't regret it. I think I've been looking the worst teammate probably in the whole MLB. So, you know, whatever happened. So, whatever they want to do it. I'll be tomorrow here if they want me, you know, whatever they want to do. So I'm going to keep doing this thing, you know. So I'm healthy on whatever, you know, on whatever to do, you know. I'm ready to come back tomorrow. And if they want me to be here, so I'll be here.
So first thing I want to say, a lot of people ran with this. A lot of people assumed and jumped to a conclusion that he was saying that he was playing for the worst team in Major League Baseball. Well, there was a misunderstanding. He took to his Instagram and he quoted the original press conference, and he added his own words saying, "Whoever hear me, I said teammate. And when I said on the situation, I being the worst teammate, thanks media for make it worse." So clearly English isn't his first language, and it was definitely spun out of proportion there. And I don't think that he said that the Mets are the worst teammate. I think he was truly saying he was the worst teammate and that he was being accountable. So I'm not going to ride on him for that. We have some comments here. You got some rows. We got Chief. There's about 50 softball teams scouting Jorge Lopez right now. We got Roy Estrada when Lopez threw his glove. Mets fans said best pitch he threw all game. We got Nando, who said that Nando 390 said that Dave Roberts had to go out there and give him a little hug. So, yeah, I mean, everyone's running with it. It doesn't change the fact that he did what he did. Yes, he didn't say what a lot of people thought he said, but I think the fact that he did what he did was just out of pocket. You cannot do that. Here's a big bruh for him. For just doing that in the first place. You're a big leaguer. You're going to have bad calls. You're going to have bad days. That does not mean you can throw a Rawlings mitt, a big league mitt, into the crowd with your name on it out of frustration over the netting. You cannot do that because you threw that mitt away, and now the Mets threw you away, and now you're looking for a job. Now, it would be kind of ironic if he ends up on the Dodgers in some capacity and he ends up being one of those roster churn guys. Would you bring in Jorge Lopez, Mr. Tonio?
I don't think so.
Before the show, you were saying.
I was saying, what if the Dodgers get him? Like, what?
This Matthew Tony Taters. Yeah, would you guys want to see him on? Like BC says, great souvenir. Good softball name. That's from Raymond Rodriguez. The infamous El Guapo says, I genuinely feel sorry for the Mets. I don't know why, but I do. Hey, don't feel sorry for them, man. I mean, they have big money. They're going to be competitive. It's going to take some time. I like what they did in the Scherzer deals, the Verlander deals, to try to replenish that farm system. You got some of the top prospects in that deal, Acuña's younger brother, but I think it's going to take some time. We got to Lopez tears so salty, I used it for pasta water. We got Raul Navarre. Jorge Lopez needs a Roberts hug. When is Johan being DFA'd? Yeah, you guys are being rough. True Blue LA, bring him in. I'll add an extra arm. I mean, hey, absolutely. We got Keith Potter. Will Smith should move to third base like an LA Johnny Bench. Let's go. Keith Potter, that's a fire take. I've spoken to Will Smith about this, about just his love for playing the catcher position and just being one of the iconic catchers in an organization that's been a catcher factory, from Roy Campanella to Yeager to Mike Scioscia to Mike Piazza. The list goes on and on about the great catchers within this organization. And yes, it's a possibility. I wouldn't rule it out later in his career. And he has played some third base, so he clearly can do it. But the premium for Will Smith is that he hits like he does, but also plays a position that's one of the more demanding positions in all of sports. And he is someone that's improved with his catching ability. You've seen the pop time numbers, the throwing numbers, the game calling numbers. He's improved at essentially every single aspect of being a catcher, and that is what he wants to do. That is his passion, but I would not rule it out later as a possibility, kind of save those knees. And we've seen catchers in the past. I mean, Mike Piazza. I mean, you got to save your knees, especially when you're an offensive weapon like he is. So I definitely think that they might consider it years down the line, especially when you have all those catchers down in the farm system, right? You got Tyrone Lorenzo, you got Diego Cartaya, you have Dalton Rushing. I mean, you have a lot of guys where either you're going to trade them for some win now pieces, or you're going to move Will Smith to another position. But I would not anticipate that happening anytime soon. In the next 3, 4, 5 seasons, I expect Will Smith to be a perennial all-star catcher for the time being. We got D-Mac's number one fan, Jorge Lopez, told Eliezer Hernandez to hold his beer. You guys are on it today. Fabian Esparza, some people say he was DFA'd. He calls it a blessing. I like that one. The infamous El Guapo, I genuinely feel sorry for the Mets. Yeah, we got that one too. We got Wise so big on Bo Bichette when there's a player named CJ Abrams who is younger and better in every way. Both will be expensive regardless. Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think the likelihood of the Blue Jays trading Bo Bichette are higher than Abrams. I just don't know if that is something that's feasible at this point. We're going to dive into that. So next one for our up. Got our next up. Like I said, for every negative, there's a positive. And our next up is a big positive, and that is we need more Miguel. We need more Miguel Rojas. Miguel Rojas has been outstanding in his opportunities this season. Yes, he is on the wrong side of 30. Yes, he is a little bit of an older player, 35 years of age, but he's showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Miguel Rojas does something that only a very small handful of human beings on this planet can do, and that is be an above average bat and be a well above average defensive player. And you look at the numbers so far. Defensively, you knew what you were going to get. 94th percentile outs above average, 4 outs above average. But it is the hitting that has been the difference. It is his performance at the plate that has really, I think, made some people internally within the Dodgers probably wonder, should we see more Miguel Rojas? Because so far this season, he's hitting 284 with a 128 weighted runs created plus. He's hit 2 home runs. He had a 4-hit game yesterday. And you're talking about someone that, yeah, sure, those numbers, they might go down. But if you can even get a league average bat in Miguel Rojas, and someone that you don't even have to worry about at all at one of the most important positions in all of sports, the shortstop position, well, guess what? That's going to give you stability. That is going to give you the ability to let Mookie Betts potentially play a little more second base, maybe even play some right field. I think, for me, I'm not selling on my Gavin Lux stock or anything like that, but I do think it was very telling that Mookie was at second to try to take a little bit of that workload off, to try to reduce that workload so he could stay fresh and do what he does best, and that is be an impact hitter. But if Miguel Rojas can perform like this on a consistent basis, I don't see how you cannot utilize him more. And you're seeing his best numbers at the plate in an offensive regular season since 2019. It's not like he's never hit. It's not like he's always been a below average bat. He does have some seasons where he has been around league average or above league average. Hasn't happened often, but he has proven to do that. And most importantly for him, he puts the ball in play. That is the big issue in the bottom of the order. The bottom of that order, they have struggled all season long just to make things happen, just to generate any type of offense and put the ball in play. And you look at his strikeout numbers, does not strike out a ton. He puts the ball in play. And I think Miguel Rojas, if you aren't going to trade for his shortstop and Mookie starts to wear down and you start to see that wear and tear take its toll, and Mookie kind of thinks, look, I am a selfless teammate. I did everything that I was asked to do. I stepped into a role that 99% of superstars wouldn't do. But having said that, what is best for the team? What gets this team over the hump in October? That is a Mookie Betts that's ready to rake, that's ready to have an impact with doubles and home runs and get on base and just provide that spark that he has. And when the Dodgers win, it's usually because Mookie's scoring runs. So I think if there's anything that is hindering that at all with taking too much toll defensively, I think it needs to be under consideration. So I need more Miggy Ro. Give me more Miguel Rojas. We got BT Fouls. What up, D-Mac? What up, BT Fouls? This is a comment of the show. Just saying what's up. We got Lux isn't going to be moved. They put a lot into him. They're going to keep him. That's from Stun Seed 59. I'm not demanding that they trade Gavin Lux. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing here. I just think that this team is better served with Mookie Betts either at second base of the Keystone, where he originally wanted to play, on the dirt, less wear and tear, not running back and forth from the dugout to right field 9 times a game, the original plan, or back in the outfield. You need some outfield pop as well. So I think for me, I think that is really the big question. I don't think that it necessarily means you move Mookie off short. That means you have to trade Gavin Lux. That's not the case. I mean, it could be the case, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean that. I think you still want to see a little more from Gavin Lux to see what kind of player he can be for you this season. Then my next down is Chris Taylor. And what really comes to mind when I think of Chris Taylor right now is, what do you do when Max Muncy gets healthy? And we're going to see Max Muncy hopefully in less than a month. It's going to take a little longer for him to return from that oblique strain. But when Max Muncy returns, do you just send down Andy Pages? Do you just send down Miguel Vargas and keep Chris Taylor on this active roster? Because if you do that, I mean, what does that say? I mean, has he earned that? And if he has, is it because of what he done in seasons past? I don't think that's the way to look at this. I think the way to look at this is you got some young talent that you're developing. Yes, Pages has had his struggles. Yes, Vargas hasn't proven himself, and it's still early with him back on the roster, but I think the potential is there for both of them to put together a better regular season than Chris Taylor. Defensively, Pages has been good. Vargas still a little green in the outfield. I think repetitions are only going to help him. He needs a little more experience out there. But I think the slug and the potential for slug and the bat to ball for Miguel Vargas, I think it makes a strong case to keep him up, even when Max Muncy returns. I mean, you look at Miguel Vargas for the month. I mean, he had 13 at-bats since he's been back. He's gone 3 for 13. He's hit 2 doubles and a home run, a 901 OPS. If you look at Andy Pages in this series against the Mets, he went 3 for 11. He's hitting 200 for the month, but the defense has been solid. The offensive potential has been flashed. For me, I think there's no doubt about this point. I'm not saying to DFA Chris Taylor. I don't want to see that. And I don't want to see this Dodgers organization have to eat less than $30 million of that contract. But I do think there's some roster maneuvering that you can do to keep Chris Taylor on this roster while also giving players that are more deserving of playing time and roster spots this season the opportunity to continue to develop. Let's not forget, it's not always just about how are you producing. It's also about investing. There's no currency like experience, and you're investing and you're giving experience to Pages and Miguel Vargas because you think that they could potentially be outfield pieces for you in the future. And there's no way to tell if they can be that unless they get those extended runs, those extended runways and opportunities to grow and get themselves out of slumps and ride the ebbs and flows, the highs and lows of a big league season. Because look, all you're going to do is send Pages, send Miggy Varg down to AAA and watch them rake. So either play them or trade them, or give them opportunities to play in spots where I think they're more deserving. I think with Miguel Vargas, if you look at his strikeout to walk ratio all throughout his career, and you look at his ability to get his bat on the ball when he's right. If he's right, let's not forget, he was dealing with injuries last season, the finger injury, the hairline fracture. I mean, he was dealing with injuries. He was not fully healthy last season. So I think with Miguel Vargas, let's see how he can perform when he's healthy after he went through what he went through. Now that he has a solidified spot in the outfield, he's not trying to play second base. I think I want to see more Miguel Vargas. And I think that Chris Taylor goes 1 for 5 in the series against the Mets. He had 3 strikeouts in the game where he laid down that bunt. And I just think, look, he's 5 for 25 this month. He's hitting 200. Pages is also hitting 200. But I think that with Chris Taylor, you almost want to hit that big reset and try to figure out a way to keep him in the organization while giving the young guys opportunities to see what they can do down the lineup. Because at some point, you're going to have to go out there and explore some trades if you're not getting enough production down the lineup. I know everyone wants to say the Dodgers are back and they've got a sweep against the Mets, but let's see how that 7, 8, 9 performs for the next month and a half. And let's see how they look heading into that trade deadline, because right now I need to see a larger body of work and more consistency to say that, okay, I'm okay with the internal options. I'm still veering on the side of external options for the bottom of the lineup. Now, next up, and this is a major up right here, and that is Blake Treinen. Blake Treinen has been great. Blake Treinen looks like top level, elite level stuff. Once again, a high leverage reliever, someone that when Evan Phillips comes back, you got 2 top dog pieces, 2 Dodger dogs.
Dodger dog of the game.
With Evan Phillips and Blake Treinen. You look at Treinen so far since he's returned, 9 games, 8 2/3 innings, a 0.00 ERA. You look at the expected numbers, they're great. You look at the strikeout rate. He's striking out his opponents at a 40% clip. You're seeing the wiffle ball back. Kelly Oshiro says, nasty Blake. One Eyed Dragon says the Blake Treinen slider looks like a wiffle ball. Yeah, look at this. Wait, where's our Blake Treinen slider? Up there. Okay, yeah. We'll get that for next time because, yeah, you know, that slider is a thing of beauty. It is absolutely, he's a happily married man, but Blake Treinen definitely has a slide piece. It's one of the best in baseball right now. Jay says, get Blake an extension ASAP. Paul Nanny, I love CT3, but he needs a major confidence boost or a change of scenery. The way his season is going, he needs it bad. We got Gotani comments. God's warrior, Blake Treinen. That's a fire take. So, yeah, Blake Treinen, he changes the complexion of this bullpen because maybe you don't have to go out there and get an elite arm if guys come back healthy and Evan Phillips and Bruce Gratterall and Joe Kelly, Blake Treinen. I mean, those are 4 really good relievers. Alex Vesia, say what you want. Not a lot of people talking about Alex Vesia, but Alex Vesia has been really good this season as well. And I think that it's more about adding the Chris Martin type, right? Someone that's kind of on the margins that you can trust in high leverage situations, but not a piece that you have to go out there and give up the farm for a reliever. Rebecca says Blake has been fire. He's been outstanding. And this is something that absolutely is one of the major developments early in this season. I mean, we're at the 1/3 mark. Tomorrow I'm going to give out my 1/3 grades. We are at a major crossroads with this bullpen, and him establishing that early on, along with Mr. Daniel Hudson. I like where this bullpen is, but you got to stay healthy, and you got a lot of older bullpen pieces by reliever standards, so you just got to hope they stay healthy. Even Brazier, when he comes back as well, we'll see what the Dodgers get from him. But they have the makings of an elite bullpen. It's the look, your best ability is your availability, and you got to have these guys healthy. Now, my last down before we get into the trade talk is, so mentioned it, Eliezer Hernandez. And it's unfortunate. This is not someone that they counted on, not someone they invested on. I like that someone says Vesia is the homie. It's a fire take from Andy over there, and I love that take right there. And someone mentions Dustin May. Angel Escobar. To be honest, I love Dustin May, but I feel like putting him in the pen would be nice. I think that's the role he would have most likely, is a multi-inning reliever this season, somebody you can use in high leverage situations. You know Dustin Mania is going to be back. I expect him to return, have an impact on this team. So there's that. Do you think we get Kenley Jansen back, D-Max from Raymond Rodriguez? Right now, I don't think so. I think they might go a different direction, especially with the guys they have now. If they continue to perform the way they are. Victor Gonzalez was the homie. That's from Keith Potter. I like it. Everyone's the homie today. Well, Eliezer Hernandez doesn't seem like he is the homie. 8 2/3 inning, an 8.38 ERA, an 8.54 FIP. You saw yesterday, he was in there. He had an opportunity to really say, okay, let me make a little statement here. Let me see what I can do. But he just didn't perform. And he issued the walk, the single, the home run. The stuff is not good enough. So I expect him to be DFA'd at some point. He's going to be one of those roster cheering guys. But that is my last down for 3 Up, 3 Down. Next up, it's trades day. We're talking about potential trades. We're talking Dodgers trade rumors coming up next here on Dodgers Dugout Live. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. I'm here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel for all latest Dodgers news, rumors, hype videos, interviews, breakdowns, live streams, and more all year long. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you really want to help the channel out, smash that like button. Also, you will not be eligible for any of our giveaways unless you are subscribed to the channel. So all you need to do to be eligible for all of our giveaways is just make sure that you are subscribed. We just gave away a brand new authentic Mookie Betts jersey valued at over $350. And we got tons of giveaways coming this offseason. So be sure to be subscribed so you are eligible to win. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and please subscribe. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live. By the way, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. Hit that like button. Comment Go Tawny down below. That way you can be eligible for our next giveaway. Our next big giveaway, we're going to do some before then that hits at 95K. Giving away a Road Gray Shohei Ohtani jersey. Some more super chats. You guys are firing away today. Richard Flores, as much as I cry for a DFA for CT3, we have to take into consideration he's a human, but this is a results business. It's a cruel game. I think there's definitely that. I mean, he's done a lot for this organization. You would have to eat under $30 million. This organization doesn't want to do that. And on top of that, look, there's a world where things click for Chris Taylor in the postseason and he hits a big home run, right? I mean, I talked to Chris Taylor in the offseason and I asked him, hey, do you sense when there's guys that are around you that aren't built for the postseason? Can you feel their nervousness almost? And he told me, yes, you can really feel it when guys are ready to step up in those situations. Guys where you just kind of have to throw out their statistics, forget about their recent trends, their baseball reference page, and say to yourself, look, they are ready for this spot. And you just look at the slump that he was mired in before he hit the home run off of Reyes in the wild card game. It was like 8 for 72 slump, and he goes deep on him. He hits the wild card walk-off, and we had Ock Taylor. I'm not saying you're going to get those kind of contributions, but I think within the organization, at the very least, you want to keep him in the fold and give an opportunity if things start to click. And you never know. Are guys dealing with injuries? Is his father in time? It's a lot of things that are a factor. But Alex Renteria says, D-Mac, Eliezer Hernandez cannot throw another pitch for the Dodgers. Yeah, I doubt he probably will. I mean, we'll see how things go. Ray V. Guzman Jr. can't compare Pages against Taylor. Pages just started, and he's doing better than Taylor. I'm sorry, Taylor has had 2 years to improve. Enough is enough. I mean, the funny thing about that, bring my facts to the fight, Chris Taylor quietly had a really nice bounce-back season in 2023 after a down year in 2022. Last season, CT3, he had a 104 weighted runs created plus. Not great, but still 4% above league average. He did hit 15 home runs in 23 after having just 10 in 2022. So look, he has been a key contributor for this team, but as you guys point out, I mean, he's hitting 108. He has a 12 weighted runs created plus. So he's 88% below league average offensively. You really can't fight that. It's tough to make the case. And like I said, keep in the organization somehow, but let the young kids play. All right, let's dive into some trade talk. Ken Rosenthal of The Athletic, he made some trade proposals for the Dodgers. He wrote in his recent piece, ideally, at least two of a group of four outfielders, Hayward, Pages, Outman, and Miguel Vargas, will emerge as solid contributors. Even then, the Dodgers would be wise to explore the market for outfielders who at the deadline generally are in ample supply. The White Sox, Tommy Pham, a favorite of some in the organization, would be one possibility. The Dodgers cannot add a DH with Ohtani occupying that spot, and it would be short-sighted to ask Ohtani to play the outfield when he is rehabbing from elbow surgery as a pitcher. So, first and foremost, I think Tommy Pham is a player we talked about a lot on this show. I mentioned him last summer before there was any connection between Tommy Pham and the Dodgers. I threw it out there, and a lot of you guys were upset about it. A lot of you guys were saying, you can't bring a guy in that got into a fight with Jock Peterson, someone that slapped Jock Peterson, okay? Yes, there was a family feud. It happens, okay? Who doesn't slap their friends in fantasy sports, right? I'm pretty sure Tonio slaps all of his fantasy baseball guys, right? I'm just playing. Increase the piece here, okay? Pham is a clubhouse cancer, never going to happen. Look, I'm not saying that this is my top choice, but he does check off a lot of boxes that the Dodgers use when it comes to trading for pieces during the season, because he's not a long-term deal. He's going to be a free agent after this year. He would be a rental. You look at his production this season, 30 games, 128 plate appearances. He's slashing 294, 344, 429 with 3 bombs, a 121 weighted runs created plus. So he would already be one of the most productive outfielders that this team has had, right? He would already be the most productive outfielder outside of Teoscar Hernandez. So you look at right there, if you can replicate those numbers, that'd be big. He's also going to be a free agent at the end of the season. He's a veteran outfielder. He's guaranteed $3 million on his base salary for his time spent in the majors. Also has $1.5 million in performance bonuses. So he has some incentives in there that can get that contract up. But that's a drop in the bucket for the Dodgers. It's just a matter of how much would he cost. It wouldn't be a lot to get him if the White Sox were ultimately going to trade him. And then what role does he play? Because if you bring in Tommy Pham, then you probably have to move off one of those rookie level outfielders in Andy Pages, right? And Miguel Vargas, of course, he's back for a second cup of coffee this season. But I think it really kind of all depends on which direction do they want to go. Because if you want a veteran, Tommy Pham could be that guy. He was really good in the postseason for certain stretches. He has had success last couple seasons, hits the ball hard, gets on base. He's not afraid of the big moment. Do you want an established veteran, or do you want to go the direction of let's develop, let's see what we have internally, let's go with the Vargas, let's go with the Andy Pages types, or let's see if Chris Taylor can be that guy, right? Or do you go another route where you throw Mookie back and right, and then you add some outfield depth from that standpoint as well. So Tommy Pham, let me know down below in the comment section. Are you in or out on Tommy Pham? For me, I think that depending on who else is available, I don't hate it this year. I think that if I have to put it on the Dodger dog scale, 1 to 10 as far as how I'm in on it right now, I would rather go bigger. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather go bigger than Tommy Pham, but it's definitely an option. I think the prospect cost would not be too high. And it's just about, hey, I think it's one of those situations too, where if you're Andrew Friedman, if you're Dave Roberts, I think it's a collaborative decision as far as you go to your clubhouse leaders, you go to the Mookie Bettses, you go to the Freddie Freemans, the Otanis, the guys that really run this clubhouse, and you say, hey, what do you think about the idea of Tommy Pham? If they say, nope, not even for a second, then boom, that's that, because you want them to gel. But I do think there's a world where maybe they want Tommy Pham. Maybe they want that edge. You guys always tell me you want that dog, right? You always tell me you want someone that brings a little bit of an edge, a bad boy kind of nasty mentality. He would probably be someone that could bring some of that. So it's just an option. Like I said, it's trades day Thursday. So we are just breaking it all down. And Tommy Pham is a name that you definitely need to know. Now, another little nugget that Ken Rosenthal threw out there was about the shortstop position. And he wrote, the Brewers leading the National League Central by 4.5 games. The value of shortstop Willy Adames as an everyday player and clubhouse leader, and almost certainly the Brewers will not trade him the way they did Josh Hader in 2022. The disappointing Blue Jays could move Bo Bichette, who, unlike Adames, a potential free agent this winter, would come with an additional year of control, but it's hardly certain the Dodgers would like the fit and or price, particularly when they remain bullish on Betts at short. So this is saying, okay, Willy Adames might not be available, right? I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much you like that house. If it isn't for sale and the people that are living there don't want to sell it, it can't be sold. So if that's the case for Willy Adames right now, then there's really nothing to dive into. If he's not available, you can't trade for him. But Bo Bichette, I guarantee you that if you make a Godfather level offer and there's any chance he's available, I think there's a good chance, if the Blue Jays continue to struggle, that he's going to be dealt at the trade deadline, because it would be a massive mistake for them not to trade him now when he has another year of team control. Yes, you can make the case, well, he's having a down season, you want to wait till his stock gets higher. No, that's not how it works in Major League Baseball. In Major League Baseball, everyone thinks they can fix everyone. Everyone thinks that a change of scenery will benefit that player. The Dodgers have seen those results. A lot of times it's through relievers. But even last season, Kike Hernandez was really bad with the Boston Red Sox. He was struggling mightily, was having a down year, the worst year of his career, and he goes to the Dodgers. Instantly, you work out some things mechanically with his swing, and you start to have some success. So I don't buy into the idea that, oh, teams won't give up a lot just because he's having a down year, because the truth of the matter is Bo Bichette is still young and he's had a long track record of having success. And I think that teams will bet on the experience of him having success versus having a slow start to the 2024 season on a bad team. And Buster Olney, he has already said multiple times that it is believed by executives, and is believed by people around Major League Baseball, that there's pretty much no chance that the Red Sox that the Blue Jays are going to extend or get a new deal done with Bo Bichette. So if that's the case, you got to get something for him. So that, having said that, we have a trade proposal, and this is from Jim Bowden of The Athletic. This is a Bo Bichette trade proposal, and his trade is he's got the Dodgers getting Bo Bichette and the Blue Jays getting in exchange Gavin Lux, Dalton Rushing, and Martin. So would you give up Peyton Martin, the pitcher? Would you give up Dalton Rushing? Would you give up Gavin Lux for Bo Bichette? So a couple of thoughts on that. Well, first and foremost, if you're the Dodgers, you guys have the Dodgers tax. And the tax is, hey, they're a good team, stockpile with talent. You don't want to make them better per se. But at the end of the day, if you have the talent and you got better talent and better offers than other teams can offer you, you owe it to yourself as an organization to do the best deal that's going to help your team. If you're looking at personal vendettas, if you're considering what happened with Shohei Ohtani, that was media driven. That wasn't Dodgers driven, right? If I'm a Toronto Blue Jays fan and I'm learning that the Dodgers are in talks with the Blue Jays about Bo Bichette, and I'm finding out that, the Blue Jays internally are probably considering the optics, right? They don't want to trade with the Dodgers because of what happened in the Ohtani situation. And then the Blue Jays pivot to trading Bo Bichette for lesser prospects. I'd be furious. If I'm a Blue Jays fan, just give me the best trade package. Forget all the shenanigans. It's about giving your organization the best chance to replenish your farm system. The Blue Jays have one of the worst farm systems in baseball, and also getting some win now talent. I think if there's one knock on the Dodgers farm system is you probably want a little more win now talent, but still, Dalton Rushing, that's your number one prospect. You also have Peyton Martin. That's your number 9 prospect. You have a surplus of pitchers, so it's not going to hurt you that much. And the question is Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux is the big wild card because, one, you wonder, what do other teams think of Gavin Lux? Do they value him as the former top prospect in all of baseball? Or do they think, okay, this is the Gavin Lux you're going to get? I personally think you could sell Gavin Lux to other teams and sell him on that potential. Remember, he's under team control until 2027. At the very least, he's proven to be a above average defensive second baseman that can hit close to 300. I think there's a world where Gavin Lux hits 288 to 300, plays above average second base, gets you 10 to 15 home runs per year, but gets on base, uses his speed. So I still think that he could provide value for teams around Major League Baseball. It's just a matter, if you're the Dodgers, do you think, okay, they view him as a shortstop, so you push him at a shortstop spot where Bo Bichette was, or do they view him as a second baseman? I think that's another big question. But for me, if it's to get Bo Bichette and put Mookie back at second and get a long-term deal done with Bo Bichette, I think this deal would be a no-brainer. How about you, Tony? Tony Taters?
I don't know, man.
I mean, you look at Dalton Rushing. He's a catcher and a first baseman. Who's playing first base? The Dodgers have a good first baseman? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's future Hall of Famer and Freddie Freeman. Do they have a catcher? That's right. The guy they just signed for $140 million. What are you going to do with Dalton Rushing, right? Third baseman? Come on now. I mean, I love Dalton Rushing. He's great, but it's about winning the World Series, not next year, not the year after that. It's about winning the World Series this year. Parades over prospects. But would you guys do that deal? We got Michael Creo. Tony is waffling. We got, I want Mookie back and right, but I'll compromise with second. That's from Rebecca. Bichette is bitchin'. Okay, but again, the positive way I get it. Jesse, D-Mac, do you see our farm system having players of the ilk? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they absolutely do. We got Sammy Boy getting Bo hangs on one thing. How much better Mookie Betts gets at shortstop before the trade deadline, he'll at least get some better there. Look, I think that Mookie, even if he gets better, you have to think about this. Look, I talked to Dino Ebel, and what did Dino Ebel tell me about Mookie Betts? He said he's obsessed. He said he's obsessed with playing shortstop. And when you're obsessed with something, you do it again and again and again. You do it on adrenaline. You do it while you're tired. For an entire 162-game season, for him to be obsessed, you have to wonder how much toll will that take. And last year, even with Mookie Betts playing some shortstop and second base and right field, he did not produce in the postseason. He went 0 for 11 in the NLDS. After his historic August, where he had 51 hits, he slowed down and cooled off in September. I want Mookie to peak at the right time. And even if he gets better would be him being average or slightly above that. You look at Mookie Betts, his outs above average right now, you know what it sits at? He's in the 6th percentile. That's -4 outs above average. His arm strength is in the 20th percentile. I mean, it's very difficult to play the shortstop position. Mookie, there's nothing you can take away from the effort and everything he's provided there because this team absolutely needed it, but still, it's not. I mean, look, here's my take on Mookie Betts. A happy Mookie Betts is a productive Mookie Betts. And what makes Mookie the most happy, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, is Mookie Betts at second base. And I think that should be the goal. How do we get our best hitter outside of Shohei Ohtani in a position where he's not going to have any type of decline? And yes, the numbers have still been great. He has not struggled offensively because he's played shortstop, but let's not forget, we're about a third into the season, a third of the way into this season. Will that be the case for the entire season? I have my doubts. I want to see Mookie Betts either back at second base or back in right field. I think that's what's best for this Dodgers team. He is one of the very best hitters on the planet. If he hits, if he gets on base and he scores runs, this team's winning goes through the roof. That is what has to be the priority to me. And I just think that, look, playing Betts out of position, you're asking for problems. And at some point, I think it's going to rear its ugly head. And it's just unfortunate that the only position they have for Gavin Lux is second base right now, right? They tried him in the outfield. It did not work. They thought it was going to be the shortstop. It did not work. And you're just limited. And that's really a red flag if you're on the Dodgers, where you don't have as much positional versatility, because that is what they covet. So, yeah, hey, I love the effort. I think it's a great story, but still want to see him back at second. Okay, next we got Tyler O'Neill. A little update on Tyler O'Neill. I've talked about Tyler O'Neill, the Red Sox outfielder. He got off to a really great start. By the end of April, he was hitting .320, had a .693 slug, was really on fire. Then in May, the numbers went down. Hitting .151, had a .301 slug. So once that time frame went to May, he kind of cooled off quite a bit. And a lot of people have been suggesting that it's the knee. And he's been dealing with a knee injury, and that has been affecting his swing. So can he get healthy, and will the Red Sox trade him? Because you look at the year he's had, he's been snake bitten by injuries. So that is something that concerns you, is if you trade for him, does he sustain an injury? So then it makes it all for naught. And then two, look, I mean, when he's good, he's really good. I mean, a couple years ago, he had a 143 weighted runs created plus, was hitting .286, had a .560 slug back in 2019, hit 34 bombs. But the injury concerns are definitely a potential red flag for me when it comes to Tyler O'Neill. And also, you look at the Red Sox, they're 28-27, 2.5 games back of a wild card spot. So it makes you wonder, if they're playing 500 ball, if the Sox are trying to get into the playoffs, they might say, okay, let's keep Tyler O'Neill. Let's see if we can maybe even get an extension done. I was talking to some Red Sox reporters, and they were telling me that at one point there was a higher likelihood that he would sign an extension versus them trading him. So I don't know where they sit today, but it lets you know that he likes Boston and Boston likes him. And also, you have to factor in, this is someone they could use a QO on, right? He could be a candidate for a qualifying offer, depending on how his season finishes, depending on if he gets healthy, if he plays like he did at the start of the year. He could be a qualifying offer type of guy. And the injury, they're describing it as inflammation. So that to me is another factor too. Is one, we don't know if the Red Sox are going to trade him. We'll see what happens with them as a team. But two, it's described as inflammation. So you're not hearing them say tear or strain. So that's probably going to be a short stint on the IL. But as for right now, I'm still in on Tyler O'Neill, but I'm not as in as I once was, just because the injuries and the fact that just his whole entire career, he's dealt with injury issues. Now, for me, you got Tyler O'Neill, you got Tommy Pham, you got Bichette. These are three names you need to keep your eyes on. As far as relievers go, really quick, I think the bullpen has really, really gotten their stuff together, even though you've been dealing with key injuries. Evan Phillips, Ryan Brazier, Brusdar Graterol, Joe Kelly. Those key injuries are preventing this bullpen from reaching its full potential and allowing us to assess who they truly are. But as Ken Rosenthal pointed out in his piece, the Dodgers always add someone. Will it be a high-profile guy? I don't think it's going to be a Mason Miller. Too much team control, prospect capital would just be through the roof to be able to acquire him. He throws so hard. Guys that throw hard, it's only a matter of time. I don't say it. I'm not going to say the word. It's like Voldemort and Harry Potter. I don't say that type of injury because I don't want to manifest anything. But that's a lot of team control for a reliever. So I don't anticipate a Mason Miller trade for the Dodgers. But some other names to keep your eyes on. How about Austin Adams for the A's? He has one more year of team control after this season, a 2.55 ERA, a 3.07 FIB. And when you're looking at potential reliever targets, it's the team control. Are they rentals? Dodgers love rentals. Ask Chris Martin, right? Ryan Brazier they brought back, but they still were able to maintain that flexibility. You got Tony Watson, who was great in the postseason, but you gave up an O'Neal Cruz. And yeah, O'Neal Cruz, 6'7" shortstop. No one thought that was going to be a possibility, but still, they have been burned. Josh Fields, Yordan Alvarez, right? There are some horror stories of some reliever trades that definitely are regrettable, but when they're on shorter contracts with not a lot of team control, you don't have to give up as much to get them. So there's Austin Adams. I think Lucas Erceg is a really great reliever. Awesome potential. Lucas Erceg of the Oakland A's has a 2.86 ERA, a 3.22 FIP this season, but he's another pre-arbitration guy until 2026. So lots of team control equals lots of prospects that you have to give up to get him. But maybe if the A's are desperate, maybe it's a possibility. Jojo Romero of the Cardinals, he's having a really good year, a 1.3 ERA, a 2.37 FIP. Cardinals, you always wonder, do they shake hands with the enemy and do a deal with the Dodgers? I'm always suspect about that. I always have my doubts that they're ever going to get a deal done. It's very rare. Of course, there was a Pedro Guerrero deal back in the day. You had Rafael Furcal went there. And how about Dylan Floro? Dylan Floro is not as explosive as some of these guys we mentioned so far, but Dylan Floro is actually having a really good year for the Washington Nationals. And of course, he was traded to Miami for Kyle Hurt and Alex Vesia. Dodgers won that trade. Alex Vesia, say what you want. Yes, he's volatile. Yes, he has ups and downs, but he has been their high leverage lefty for years now, and he's really put together a really nice season so far after a rocky start. And then Kyle Hurt, you saw the potential last year in his debut against the Padres, where he gets out the top of that Padres line. You get out Tatis, Soto, Machado. You make light work of them. You've seen his potential. He's nasty. Unfortunately, he's down on the 60-day IL with shoulder inflammation. But Dylan Floro, this season, he's got a 1 ERA, a 2.83 expected ERA, a 2.61 FIP in 27 innings of work. Strikeout numbers are down. His K per 9 is down from 921 to 6.33 this season. But another thing I like about him is he's not under a lot of team control as well either. And you look at the contract of him, I mean, it's around like $2 million. So this is not someone who's going to be expensive. I'm not saying go all in on Dylan Floro, but be interesting to see if he keeps this up and they're looking to add another arm that they're familiar with. Maybe they go that route. But we'll bring it next Thursday for Trades Day, and any type of rumors, you know, we're going to continue to bring them up. But we got 57. We got Now the World 138, 199 Clutch. CT Clutch. Remember that? Yeah, I do remember that. It's a fire take. Ozzy 499. Do you see Outman, Vargas, Pies, or Knack being shipped out by the trade deadline? Ozzy, look, I think the way that Gavin Stone's performed, man, he has really raised his stock. So if you are a team looking to trade a premier player, I think the Dodgers could say, hey, Gavin Stone is someone who could be a 2 or 3 at his very peak, possibly a 3, but he's been really good this season. Landon Knack has done nothing but get the job done in his limited opportunities. He's someone that is a back-end guy of your rotation at the very best, I think. But still, I mean, there's something to be said about that. And look, a 2.61 ERA in 20 2/3 innings for Landon Knack. He's just got a knack for getting guys out, and you love to see that. That FIP is high at 4.63, so I don't think teams will view him as this big top prospect arm or anything like that. Stone is the Dodgers number 2. That's from Nando 390. It's a fire take. Yeah, I mean, and then you got Andy Pajes, and then you got Miguel Vargas. I mean, those are guys that I think you could sell around the league too. If you're all those are names that are win now pieces, and you have to be certain that you're off of those guys. So I don't necessarily think that they would want to go that route unless they got some established guys in return. The Randy Arozarena types, right? Nando 390, Dodgers been sipping on Lux too long, time to move on. Justin Lamas, I want that dog. Pham. So that's my walk-off shot right there. You want that dog in Pham. Couple more walk-off shots. What do you think happens to Kyle Hurt when he gets back? All depends on when he gets healthy, man. I mean, he's got stuff. I could see him as a bullpen piece in October. He's that good. Last one here, Alex Renteria. D-Mac, let's see these new guys. They can bring an edge like Ohtani, can be a totally different player in the postseason like the WBC. Just need to get him there. Ray Soto says, I like Pham. He's an October hired gun. So I'm seeing more people liking the idea of Tommy Pham. And Dodgers Nation fam, that's where this one ends. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. For producer Tony Taters, you can follow him on Instagram and the X as well. Remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, hit that like button on your way out, drop all your takes down below. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time,